The doctor said, no, actually, fathers
just one more
go
thing
through
for me to
it
fill
too,
out for me
right?
is what you were thinking.
You know, fathers go
Yeah.
through it too. And you know, and I can remember when he had his issues, that when I look back at it now,
Wow.
here's this man who was struggling with having his first child as well. So it's here.
Yeah.
It's a reality. Postpartum depression and psychosis are real. I've seen from a defense standpoint of awful things that women have done to their children that, you know, as a mom, we're like, God, it couldn't, oh, I would never do that, right?
Yeah.
Or,
How
but the
could you?
reality of it could always be me. And I always try to, in the criminal defense standpoint, I try to put myself in the shoes of my clients and say it could have always been me. DUI, traffic ticket, it doesn't matter what it is, right? It could always be me. We're all one bad choice, one mistake away from it being us. And I think the reality of it is that that's what we need to look at. But, you know, instead of saying this couldn't have been me, it's what can we do? How can we change
it wasn't her, because I
Right.
obviously haven't had any children, but the things you read about her being a labor and delivery nurse, that she was like everybody's angel and she was so detailed and she loved children and she loved being a mom. And so her mind was in a state that was so altered that it wasn't her that did those things.
sad.
And you know, I know she's in the criminal justice or the criminal justice system right now, but when she gets back to herself, if she ever does, there's going to be
She'll never forgive herself.
there's going to be no punishment or anything that could make her feel worse than she's going to feel. But it just, your mind is not. Mind is not the same.
When you think about just like the hormonal effects of the hormones that you're carrying of your child plus yours, the alterations that happen in your body, there's a reason why they tell women to wait for a period of time before they have another child. Why? So their body can rest, it can reset itself, your hormones can reset itself, your brain can. When your child is up and awake at night and crying all the time, there's a reason why individuals are tortured, right, with lack of sleep.
Right.
Why do we do that? Why? Because it alters the brain.
Yeah.
You know, so when you are sleep deprived, it does a thing to you.
And then add in all the medicine that she was taking.
Right.
So not just postpartum, but then the medicine, that insane amounts of medicine they're trying to treat it with.
Yeah.
It just.
When you said, so in my head, I didn't think I've ever had postpartum, right? We had this whole talk beforehand, but as you're talking, like, I feel like I could cry. So when Knox was born, he was born five and a half weeks early.
Yeah.
And his lungs weren't developed. And I had to do, he was 5 days old and I had to do CPR on him. And I mean, he was as black as my shirt. And so when EMS arrived, first I got a volunteer fireman that came first. And he was a kid, like from a high school. And I remember him crying because he thought my baby was gonna die in front of him. Thought Justin was gonna punch the kid out, you know, because we're like taking turns breathing, trying to like get. I'm trying to like use my mouth to suck everything that's because he had aspirated on his own vomit, and after that I went and got diet pills, not to lose weight, but to stay up all night and watch him breathe for 10 weeks. And when I think about that, and I didn't take a maternity leave either because I didn't have that luxury yet. You know, Justin and I had our own firm. And it was just us two against the world, and so. When I think back about it,
You were not yourself.
Right.
I know, and
those
it just
10
makes me
weeks?
cry thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how like why I don't think I want to even admit that because like I've been taught that like that makes you less of a mom to feel all those feelings, right? So I couldn't imagine. This is the deal. I know that in this country, like everybody has these thoughts on women's reproductive rights and all that stuff, but like. We're not even taking in consideration women and their health after the babies are born, right?
Yep.
And we all have to do better. And you know, we say 100 times on the show, like that of which we do not acknowledge, we cannot change, right? So we got to start talking about it. It's like we have to like. My mom said the other day, like, why is so and so talking about on Facebook about their miscarriage? Like that, just because it feels so like
So personal.
It's so personal, but it just feels like we don't talk about stuff like that, right? Well, that's the problem. We don't talk about
we
stuff
have
like
to
that.
end the stigma of it, right? That I should be able to share that I struggle as a mom. I can, you know, now I swear every day on Instagram or Facebook or something, I see a meme that talks about overstimulation. right? I'm not angry. I'm just overstimulated. The baby's crying. Someone's saying, "Ma, ma, ma, I have to help with homework." The blender's going, the laundry machine, and something's touching me too much.
Yeah.
And I'm just overstimulated. I'm not angry,
Yeah.
you know? And so perhaps we should end the stigma and talk about the things that we experience after we have children, the things that men experience afterwards, how hard it is being a parent. And that doesn't mean that we can't say, I love my children, you know, but that doesn't mean that sometimes it's hard. It doesn't mean that when I woke up.
Most of the time it's hard.
Right? That when I wake up, and I still, to this day, wake up at least 6 times during the night to breastfeed. Do you know what? I haven't slept 8 hours. And God knows how long. I don't know what it feels like. When the first night I get 8 hours, first of all, my health app on my phone is gonna be like, bing, bing, bing. You hit the lottery.
Go,
Right? But, you know, I think that we just need to talk about these things. And I think that the next problem is that when you get to the legal aspect of it, postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis are not recognized as defenses. It's like they don't exist. It's you know, you did a bad thing, and that's what this is. And there's nobody wants to acknowledge that this is why it happened. We go all around it. We have cases right here in our county. Alexandra was the female's last name, where she drove across North Carolina state line, came here, and disposed threw her baby into the pond right there at Tanger Outlets, and then, you know, continued driving all the way into Aner until she got, you know, rear-ended someone, got into a car accident. And, you know, the doctors at the ER are saying this is postpartum psychosis. They didn't even know. She's asking, "Where's my baby? Where's my baby? Where's my baby?"
She was asking where her baby was.
And
Yeah.
you know, and it's documented in the medical records about postpartum psychosis.
Wow.
You know, and so here, you know, years later, where someone's being found not competent and not being able to stand trial, like this is something that exists, whether we want to ignore its existence or not, because we can't fathom the fact that a woman would do something like this.
When life gets